Well, hello everyone, welcome along to Snetterton. It's the final round of the 2022 TCR UK Championship, and what a title decider we've got in store. These are the 7 drivers in contention for our championship this year. It's set to be the closest final round we've ever had. We're going to take the opportunity here, the night before it all really kicks off, to have a chat with them, see how they feel about their chances, and have a little bit of a talk about the way the season's gone. And where better than to start than with our 2 joint championship leaders arriving here to the final round after drop scores, Chris Smiley, Isaac Smith. The same amount of points. Chris, it's hard to believe, isn't it, after all this racing, all those points scored, and it's this tight. But is this the kind of situation that you relish?
You know, it's easy to be in the lead, and you know, you sort of get a little bit complacent then, and we still have our fire in our belly. You know, we know we're tight on points. You know, we're going to approach this weekend like we have every other one. You know, we've got a car that's capable of doing the job, and yeah, it's all guns blazing tomorrow. We just it's all going to come down to that qualifying session.
Drop scores have kind of been your saviour this year because you've had a race win, you know, you've had some good highs over the course of the season, but those 2 non-finishes as well. Although that drop score system saves you, do you look back at Brands Hatch and look back at Donington last time and think, oh, what if?
I don't really look back at any of the weekends, you know, because it's easy to look back and say, you know, I could have done this better and I could have done that better. But, you know, we've put ourselves in a position today that we're at the front of the championship. So, yeah, I think we've done a good job. You know, yes, we've had some bad luck here and there, but I look back at Castlecombe where I look back and I think that I really should have won both races. You know, we had the problem with the clutch on the line, but that was a little bit of bad luck. We had the problem with the clutch on the line, but the good luck that we had was that the clutch didn't disintegrate and we were able to continue on the rest of the day. And, you know, it's a 4th in race 2 and 5th in race 1, you know, from stone last. So, yeah, we've had our shares of good luck and we've had our shares of bad luck. But, yeah, it's a great prospect for everyone to watch tomorrow, you know, with 7 drivers here that potentially can win the championship. It's going to be very, very exciting.
You've had a fair share of battles with the man sat next to you as well, Isaac Smith. Does that maybe mean that you go into tomorrow with a bit of extra confidence? You know how each other race, you know you can race cleanly together as well? Yeah,
listen, we've had great battles with all these guys all year, you know. It's been good racing. I think tomorrow is going to be a slightly different atmosphere than the other weekends. You know, there's a championship on the line, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to it, Chris. Thanks very much for having a chat with us. If you want to just hand that down to Isaac Smith then, who is, as we've said, tied on championship points, but those drop scores that have helped Chris have had the exact opposite effect for you, really. You, in a way, should be 40-odd points up the road, but Mr. Consistency, that's not necessarily worked out for you, has it?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a shame, really, but I can't help that one. We've played a bit of a pointsy game all year rather than just being outright fast everywhere, and it's paid off so far, so now we can actually go and show a real pace.
Absolutely, and you're going to have to go for it this weekend. It's not just Chris you're battling, but there are several others that we know have race-winning pace. They could have started out scoring you two. You haven't yet won a race yet this year. I know you're sick of me mentioning this. Will it take a race win, do you think, tomorrow to wrap up this title?
It really depends where we're all going to be, because the top 7 in the championship are always within the top 7 in qualifying, so it's just going to be muddled up. And I would say yes, but then the reverse, could you never know what's going to happen?
Absolutely, it could all kick off, couldn't it? Rain in the air as well, we believe, for tomorrow morning. Does that maybe give you a bit of an extra chance, because we know the Golf is a good car in the wet?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest. I've been doing a bit of rain dancing a bit earlier, so hopefully we get a bit of rain and we'll be fast tomorrow.
Excellent stuff. Well, Isaac, best of luck for tomorrow. You'll be fighting hard with Chris, but also with these other guys. Adam Shepherd sat alongside you, and Anthony Jordan, I believe, can have a chat with you.
Yeah, Adam, we were speaking earlier on, of course, about weather, and we were talking there about a rain dance. You were talking to me about a dry dance. You're really wanting it to be dry tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah, we're first time in the wet, really. Myself, I like the wet, but the car didn't. It was just a bit understeery and the balance wasn't great. And then in the flip side, in the dry, we were lightning fast on old tyres. We parked the car halfway through the day and didn't go again because the car felt good and we would save it and hope for the best. So we're going to make a lot of changes overnight because it's looking like it's going to be wet. We think we know what direction we need to take the car, But yeah, it's a bit of a shame because the pace we had in the dry was very promising.
Yeah, and speaking of directions, of course, the season really changed direction at Brands Hatch, of course, when you had that starting on the front row, finished the race as well in the lead. So, you know, talking about that, I think it was the weekend you had a clutch issue, and I think sent the family home as well, and then it all, or was it drive shaft, and then it all came to in your favour, really, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That was Brands Hatch actually. We had a drive shaft failure, sent the family home. Then we got a drive shaft 10 minutes before the race started, ended up coming P2, I think it was. Then ups and downs, as Chris said, really. We went to Castle Combe, lead in, punch a last corner, last lap.
Yeah, we won't remind.
We won't
remind Andy of that.
And then Donington pole, lap record and the win. So it's been up and down for us all year. So it's going to be close. We've got nothing to lose. We've full send and see how fast we can be. Like
I say, yeah, and of course that title fight is up for the grabs despite all those ups and downs over the season. So, you know, going into tomorrow, you've got quite a challenge ahead of you. It's going to have to be a full send, really, from your position?
The points are closer than it seems because the jump between positions is quite large. So if you're qualifying well, you take 6 points, and if you've got the pace to put it on pole, you've got the pace for the fastest lap. So there's 7 points there that are almost freebies, and it can bring you straight back into it. So you just get to drive flat out and see where we end up.
Yeah, that'll be the main one. And of course, another driver that you're going to be battling with, of course, Lewis Kent, who's all the way down the other side of the road. So if we juggle the microphone around, we'll head back to Andy, who has got Lewis down there.
Well, why don't we start with Bruce?
Bruce.
It is complicated. There's too many drivers to keep track of this weekend, all in contention. Bruce, you're not a million miles behind Adam in the points, actually. Similar sort of plan of attack for you then this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like Adam said, you know, personally I'd prefer it to be dry, but yeah, whether it's raining or not, you know, we'll go out there and just do the best we can on the day. Yeah, like you say, qualifying looks like it's going to be wet, so yeah, get stuck in. Obviously, like you mentioned earlier on, we've got a new car, so you know, no wet testing. So luckily it was damp this morning, so we had a little bit there. So yeah, just go out and enjoy qualifying. And, yeah, like Adam says, if you can be in the top 6, you know, there's a couple extra points up there, up for grabs there. So just brings us maybe a little bit closer to the guys up front.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think on the face of it that changing car at the last round of the championship would be a foolish move, but you're loving that new Hyundai, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I've been out in it all day, like just to keep going round and round. Yeah, changing things on the car, and yeah, it's been a good day for us, wet and dry, to be honest. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow.
Obviously, last year, runner-up in the championship in a DSG Cupra. That was such an amazing achievement. A standard Cupra at the start of the year. Was there a particular reason, do you think, why the results just weren't quite coming? Was it bad luck? Was it setup? What do you think it was?
I think, well, everybody's had their fair share of bad luck this season. But yeah, we had, you know, multiple rounds with no points, and multiple races, with no points this year. So yeah, it's buts and maybes, isn't it, like always? But yeah, you know, we felt that the i30 was a better car, so yeah, we were going to have it for next season, and it became available earlier on. So yeah, that's why we got it for the last round. And yeah, like I say, I've had a good day today, so it only bodes well for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, a man who knows a thing or two about Hyundais is stood next to you, Anthony, our double reigning champion, Lewis Kent.
Yes, yeah, double reigning champion. I think the one driver who really wants to end the season not as a reigning champion is yourself. I mean, the challenges that you've faced over the last couple of years really are going to boil down to what's going to happen this weekend with rain in a factor. It's going to be a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is the first year in 3 years of actually coming to the last weekend not leading in points, so it's a different factor for us to like think of. But yeah, I think the only wet race we've had this year I've won, so I'm really hoping for rain this year or tomorrow. The car works well in the rain, I work well in the rain, so yeah, if it does rain then it'll be interesting. We'll see a lot. I think it'll be a lot closer in the racing. You know, we've seen a couple of races where people have pulled away, where they've just got a bit more pace in the dry. But yeah, you know, wet races always bring everyone together, and it makes for a bit of drama. So I think wet racing could be good for us tomorrow.
Definitely so, and I mean, a lot of talk this weekend is, of course, about the weather and how close the championship is going to be. I mean, weather permitting, it's saying it's going to dry out potentially halfway through the day, and that could factor in maybe even potentially a dry race. So, you know, with that factor coming in, do you think the car is ready to juggle between the two?
Yeah, again, we've done some testing since the last round. You know, the car hasn't really performed how we wanted it to this year. We've done some setup changes, got it so it's actually working how we want it to now. In testing today, we've put in some good times. You know, we're on the pace now, so I think if it does dry out, we'll still be there or thereabouts. I'm hoping that we can just have a good first race if it is wet in the wet, and then whatever happens into the last race, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's all down to tomorrow, really.
Yeah, of course, and you've moved into the Veloster now as well, so that's been obviously a big change for you. Like you were saying, you've had some good moments, you've had some bad moments with the car, but like you were saying, it's coming to fruition, and it all seems to be working well for you.
Yeah, it's been a difficult learning curve for us. It's not 100% the same as the i30. I feel like, what the setup changes we've done recently, we've actually been going the wrong way all year. We've kept on complaining about understeer, and we keep on doing one thing, but we were supposed to really be doing the other. So we've gone the complete other way now, and the car it feels like it's on rails. It's hooked up lovely. So we'll see how these guys as well perform tomorrow. I'm hoping that a couple of them fumble up. Not being horrible or anything, but as a racer does. I think it'll be very interesting, and I think back in 2019 this was the grid, so to have 7 of you chasing for the championship for what it was back in 2019, it just shows how strong the championship's come on, and it's going to be a good little day tomorrow.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. And another driver who's going to be in for that fight as well, Alex Lee, just next to you. We'll hand to Andy as well, who'll take you through this one.
Yeah, Alex Lee, championship contender, 3 times a winner this year, more wins than anybody else. I can say this to you now at this stage of the season. If you'd have told me back in April that was the conversation we'd be having, I don't think I'd have believed you. Have you surprised yourself at how well you've sort of arrived in TCR UK immediately with a bang?
I think I have a little bit, especially because it's my first year in the senior cars, just moved out the junior Fiestas. It's been a really good year. I've learned loads over the whole period, so I'm hoping next year I can be a bit closer to the front to fight for the championship.
That is the scary thing as well. You are so young, relatively inexperienced, still getting quicker and quicker and learning all the time. So I think these others should be definitely concerned about you for next year. What about for this year, though? Is there a chance of the title? We know you've got the pace when things are working well to stick it on pole and win races, and that really is what you have to do.
I think, we've got the pace in the wet and the dry from the testing we've done today. I think it's going to be quite hard, but anything can happen, so fingers crossed that we can do quite well.
Yeah, certainly. Those 3 race wins were fantastic to watch. Was there a particular highlight of the season? The first win, I guess, is always special.
I think the first win was the most special for me because it was my first proper win in cars, so it just felt amazing. So.
And we've also seen you're not afraid to get stuck in. And around here at Snetterton, that's going to be necessary, isn't it? There are places you can pass, but you've got to be quite aggressive.
Yes, I think it's going to be a really good race tomorrow. Even in the wet or the dry, I think it's going to be a big fight, and it'll be good to watch for everyone. So.
Absolutely, we're really looking forward to it. Alex, thank you very much. One more, we're nearly there. 7 drivers to talk to, and Anthony, you've got our last title contender down there with you.
Yes, Jac Constable. Now, Jack, before we started this, the first words you actually said to me when you walked in is do I actually need to be here? Because you've got quite a challenge ahead of you. You are still mathematically in for a chance of winning the championship, but it's going to be a tall order, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of maths that have to go into that equation, I think. But, I think to be stood here is quite an achievement for us, considering the problems that we had at the beginning of the year. But I'm happy to be here.
Now, I believe you're the only driver in this group here running the Cupra in this top 7. If I'm correct in that one, I hope I am. But running that one, it's been a tough season all the way throughout. But of course, going into this one, you're going to need to win everything, and hopefully none of these guys here score any points, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, let's be 100% honest with ourselves. It's not going to happen. But we'll give it a good go and see what happens.
That's why you're here. We have a good chat about it. I mean, going through, the season's been pretty good as well. And I mean, it's all going to be stepping up to what potentially will happen next year, of course, with maybe new teams, new cars, everything like that. So, it's still a great stepping stone, being in this top 7 in that title fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for myself, it was kind of a stepping stone towards the touring cars with Power Mats and the stuff that I've done with them over the last couple of years. So, fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be the main one. You've got family here, of course. I see he's got Clayton in the car. He's your cousin, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is, yeah. He annoys me a lot in the British kart championships. But back with touring cars. I mean, has he learnt a lot of you, or have you learnt a lot from him as well?
I'll say he's learnt a lot from me.
Yeah.
Just because I'm older.
Okay.
But it probably swings and roundabouts in both ways, and we both annoy each other enough. So, we're both here together, and we're going to have a laugh.
Exactly, that's what we need. But no, Andy, thank you very much, Jack. And Andy, all these top 7 drivers here, it's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Wet conditions, possibly even dry. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, you really couldn't script it. We've got 2 races tomorrow, plus a qualifying session, points available in all of those. Mixed conditions, a circuit we've never raced at as well. We've never raced at any version of the Snetterton circuit in TCR UK history. It's going to be quite the show. Thank you very much, guys, everyone, for joining us. Do appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. I'm sure you've got lots of things you want to do in preparation for the final 2 rounds of the championship tomorrow. You can find the live action in all of the usual places through the TCR UK social media platforms. Qualifying in the morning, 2 races later on in the day. You will not want to miss it.